Hello and welcome to Banking Frontiers Live. I am Parinita Likhite and today we'll be talking about fresh perspectives on marketing. We have Tarannum Hasib here with us today. She is the Chief Distribution Officer and Director of Marketing at Canada HSBC OBC Life Insurance Company. Welcome Tarannum ma'am. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, Parinita. Thanks for having me here. Yes, so I head marketing and distribution for Canada HSBC OBC Life Insurance, and it's my pleasure to be here with you.
Okay, ma'am. So, my first question to you is what, according to you, is the most interesting recent development in the field of marketing?
So I think in the last couple of years, the field of marketing has tremendously undergone a change. What we see now is, very outcome-oriented business requirements, and also I think with the stress on budgets and multiple other things, marketing is becoming very, very outcome-oriented. And I think with the advent of digital marketing, also some of these quantifiable measures have been made possible. So I think one big learning for all marketers now has been that please create marketing plans and also efforts which are completely measurable, quantifiable, and clear value add to the business. So there was a time, when you had ATL and BTL marketing and there was no digital. So now the whole media plan today, if you see any media mix today, it is, a mix of digital plus other opportunities. And then quantifying all of this is become very much possible. So I think that's a big learning for the entire marketing fraternity. And I think all of us are growing and doing that. So that's really important. The other thing also we've noticed is, the way the consumers today are absorbing information on products and servicing. So the expectation levels are different. The amount of detailing required is very different. So there's a lot of focus now on consumer insights. So I don't think any marketer can make any strategy now without having sharp consumer insights and coupled with data analytics. I think data analytics has become a huge and important part for marketing today. So I think a blend of all of this is, really the new face of marketing.
Right, ma'am. So, it's like smart goals.
Smart goals, achievable goals, and measurable goals.
Hmm.
Because there was a time when people would do marketing, ads, media spend, but there was no direct impact quantifiable. Changing, organizations and your board expects you to quantify. So I think that's the new thing, and it's good. I think it's a very good development because the more you can show value add to business in a measurable way, I think you'll have more endorsements for every initiative which you do. So I think that's what we follow internally, and our marketing team has really moved their goal sheets into quantifiable, measurable goals, and I think that is helping us get more spends towards our own initiatives, and also organization values it even more.
So, ma'am, which sector do you think is in a leadership position for marketing today?
I think in the last 2 years, especially after pandemic, I think e-commerce is a worldwide winner, and so it is in India. So I think there's a sharp growth in the e-commerce industry, and obviously e-commerce comes at the back of a lot of marketing and digital marketing. So e-commerce, FMCG, then we've seen consumer durables, and surprisingly, within e-commerce, you would see industries like grocery, grocery, fashion, apparel, beauty products. These have really grown sharply. And then, of course, you've seen sectors like telehealth, which have really grown in this last 2 years.
Pandemic days, yeah.
It is, and I think in India especially, you see that telecommunication has played a huge role. I think everyone on the road and street you see, whichever bracket they all have, irrespective of income, they have a smartphone. They are all on 4G, 5G. So that has
It's
made a
all
lot
thanks
of,
to Geo, actually.
so all this has actually helped, these particular industries flourish. So I think telecom is sort of the bedrock of all this progress which has happened in the past couple of years. And in Q4, so there are a lot of reports, which are there in public domain. In Q4, we actually saw in India, the growth of e-commerce to up to like 30 to 35%, which is pretty much very high. And we expect the overall CAGR growth of e-commerce to be up from 19 to 24, that is 2019 to 2024, a growth of 27% CAGR, which is phenomenal. So I think these industries are going to be the leaders as far as marketing is concerned.
We've seen like Amazon and Flipkart also come up with groceries and stuff.
And a lot of daily needs which one would actually go out and shop. Now people are very comfortable doing it online, and I don't think that's going to change post pandemic. So this is a shift in the consumer behavior now, so which is here to stay. So I think all of us have to realign our marketing strategies according to this new reality and quickly adapt to a lot of online mediums, because that's what the consumers are used to today.
So the new requirement now. So ma'am, how do you think the CEO level people have influenced your thinking?
So, Parinita, I think, it's not only the CEOs who've sort of influenced my thinking. My thinking has been influenced by many more people. And I've learned a lot from the people who are in my team and who report into me over the years. And I think huge learnings. But to answer your specific question, I think one person I admire, and I think I've said it multiple times, is Steve Jobs. I really admire him a lot. And, some of the strategies which he's deployed. So I think he was great at product. He was a great strategist and he was a great marketer. I mean, if you see his videos on launch of iPhone, I mean, one of the most amazing launches and the way to market a product. So I think excellent person with a lot of strategy and marketing blend put together. Also, I think something which he created was, he started a new line every time, a new line of product which cannibalized his own line. He actually made his own product obsolete and started a new product. So which was a phenomenal strategy, I think. And once Apple started it, I think others followed suit. So I think that was a fantastic thing which he started. And also he's created an Apple cult. There's an Apple cult today, and there is a prestige associated with Apple. So it's not easy to create that kind of vision. And I think it must have taken a lot for him to actually implement that. So creating a vision and implementing and seeing success of both together, I think is amazing. So that is one. The other one whom I worked with, I must say, is one of my line managers and CEO of SBI Life, Mr. Roy. I think he actually taught me what emotional intelligence is. And business is all about people. So no matter how fancy gadgets and systems you have, finally at the core of it, it is people. So how to harness talent and how to stay connected with people, I think I learned firsthand from him. And I think I value it a lot, and I actually practice it. And it has helped me, through all my phases of my roles. So I think these two I would like to mention, of course, and there are many more people who influence you in your journey.
So now they say like emotional intelligence is actually more important than IQ.
Correct. Because, finally, you could be a subject matter expert, but if you're not able to have people see your vision or your team see your vision, I think alone you can't do anything. So you're as good as your team. So I think that's extremely important. And I think I learned that lesson early in my career. So which really helped me. And I think some leaders, when you see them act it out, I think you have a walk the talk right in front of you. So it helps you imbibe better. So I think I must thank him a lot for this part of myself.
Right, ma'am. So during the pandemic, like what has emerged as your favorite technique to engage with the management or the board, say presentations, charts, case studies, or something else?
So I think pandemic really taught us all to present data in a different way and accept data in a different way. So where we used to have a face-to-face board, now we've started having everything on WebEx. And so of course we've learned a few things. So there was always presentations and there was always a style to present so that people could understand and absorb information. But I think what we learned during the pandemic was to keep a presentation really crisp to the point, because if it is long on a Zoom or a WebEx, I don't think anyone's interest will hold beyond a point. So I think smart infographics and crisp content and also a lot of offline engagement, because which you can't really do justice to on a board meeting on a WebEx. I think we've actually our engagement has increased offline. As in, when I say offline, I don't mean face to face, I mean outside of the board meeting also, to explain the data and then give perspective, because when you are face to face, it definitely has a different flavor, and we are all adapting. Maybe after 2 years we may actually not need face to face. So now we are all in this transition phase, that how do you do. So all our board meetings, I think from last year March, have been on WebExes, and I think they got sharper over the years, over the last year. I mean, we have board meeting every quarter, so every quarter I should say they've got sharper. Our content has become a lot more crisper, and the way we present is become way more sharp on data. So we have to find out ways to present a lot of data in a way which people can interpret and understand fast. So we've deployed a lot of these tools and techniques, and a lot of pre-engagement also with the data. And I don't think we've seen any cracks in understanding. So that is the best part, because net you want an outcome. And I don't think we had a compromised outcome anywhere in our internal or external meetings. I think business is running. Of course, the sentiments are low, so it does have impact on the business in that sense. But we frankly, on a new business premium basis, last year we actually grew. We managed to grow by roughly 35 to 40%. So I think that is something which actually demonstrates that we used all these tools and techniques and managed to grow our business, and also get support from the board for all our revised plans, because with pandemic we had multiple revised plans, and I think all of that went through. So I think the techniques which we used and we deployed during this period, I think yielded results for us.
So, ma'am, with which departments do you think that marketing is beginning to collaborate most closely?
The marketing always collaborated with departments like customer service, sales, so this was BAU. But now I think the focus is way sharper, because like I said right in the beginning, that for marketing, goals have become very measurable now and outcome oriented. So I think a strong collaboration with sales is extremely important. And I think that has started along all industries. And in the financial sector, for insurance, for example, if I would say, yes, there is a lot more collaboration between marketing and sales now, because a lot of it has also become digital and lead generation, especially in pandemic. So that collaboration is very strong. With customer service, it's become very strong now and will have to be stronger, because we are trying to reach out to the customers on e-platforms. So that is stronger. And I think that one of the most important things is that now marketing has started using and has to further use more applications and apps enabled by IT. So I don't know whether earlier, how much of IT enablement was required in marketing, but today it is a given, because you have to reach out to customers basis their segmentation and sharper segmentation and customer insights. So all these have to be deployed using maybe AI, chatbots, other marketing tools, applications. So I think IT is the new entrant in this whole collaboration phase, and it has to go. I think it's a beginning. It has to get stronger. IT collaboration has to get way stronger, and that will automatically lead to outcomes in sales and customer services. So I think this is a pyramid, and the sooner we try and crack this equation better, marketers do it faster than others, I think we will all see success.
So it's like also the rise of targeted marketing and social media marketing.
Social media, and also in terms of customer services, customer portals, and sending the right communication to the customer, maybe prospects or new. All of this is extremely important, and this comes with a lot of customer segmentation. Now a lot of sharper customer segmentation is required. I think if you don't do that, you will be missing out on an opportunity. And especially in India is a very diverse economy and society. So if we do not use some of these customer insights, I don't think as marketers, we are doing justice to the role we have, because the last segment, and look at the languages we have, and also you have a large middle class, and a person sitting in Varanasi vis-a-vis a person sitting in Chennai, reacts very differently to information. So if you're not able to capture all of these consumer insights and deploy tools to make this data intelligent, I think marketers will not be adding the value and will find it difficult to justify their outcomes. So I think it's extremely important to strengthen this working environment and relationship.
Ma'am, so from your personal experience, what pros and cons of a marketing career would you share with students who are making a career choice?
Yeah, so when I was just wondering when you asked this question, because I have not studied marketing. So I'm a finance professional. I'm a chartered accountant
Oh,
who finance, headed finance for a number of years, rather 10 years, and then a decade, and then moved on to sales to experience what's there on the other side of the coin. Because, and that's how now I've been in sales for like around 12 years, 13 years onwards. And then I was fortunate enough to have marketing added to my portfolio. So I'm a marketer by practice and not through academics. So I think my experience will come from a lot of practical, experience and ground realities. So I think for marketers and for students, I think it's a great opportunity to blend, mm, maybe, a creative element and actually give business outcomes with creative element. So it's actually a mix of best of both the worlds, that you use creativity to deliver business outcomes. So that's I think a fantastic combination. And if marketers are able to understand dynamics well of the business, and also marketing fundamentals are strong, they can also move industries, because marketing cuts across multiple industries. So they can move industries very easily, as long as your, of course, fundamentals are strong. So I think students out there, you have a great opportunity to explore in the marketing world. And as far as the cons are concerned, I think if you're not updated on what are the new things which are happening, which is true for every industry, but for marketing students, I think customer trends, research, analysis. So contrary to, when people see marketing and they say TV ads, and it's a very rosy picture, but I think there's a lot of hard work which goes behind that, and a lot of research and analytics. So a lot of reading is required for marketers to do justice to a smallest media campaign. So if they don't do that, I think outcomes will be compromised. So that is the con part of it, that if you don't sort of, keep yourself updated, do not read enough, I think it will compromise your outcomes. And finally, ROI is what, the corporate world sees. So I think ROI is something which should never leave anyone's mind. And that's how I think one can justify this whole equation.
basically, you just have to love what you do. If
Love
you
what
love
you do.
marketing, then only you will read and then you will
You
be up.
you need a curious mind. You need a curious mind. If you just consume information as it comes, then I don't think you'll be doing justice. And that's true for every field. But for marketing, I think it's even more important, because you actually have to convince so many people. And how will you end up convincing them if you don't know much about their behavior, their trends? So I think it's very important for marketing people to be up the curve on consumer insights, data analytics. So I think those are important facets of marketing.
So, ma'am, on that note, like which non-marketing book would you recommend to young marketing professionals?
So I think one of the books which I would recommend, especially for young students and professionals, is Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. This is by Stephen Covey. And I think it's a lovely book. It actually, and the genesis is what Stephen Covey believes actually is that, our habits and our character is made up of our habits, and that's what defines us and what we are, and also defines the way we see and achieve our success. So some of these are very simple, I mean, but if you go through the book and read it, it's very interesting. It's like, if you be proactive, do the right thing the first time, and it should be a win-win situation. Understand before you expect people to understand you, you understand them. So some of these are like, these 7 habits are very, very simple to practice, and I think very real. And I personally prefer books which are grounded and which people can understand faster and adapt and think, okay, this can be done, easy to do, and I can relate to it. So I think this is a great book for marketing professionals, especially the young professionals.
Ma'am, so on the other hand, which marketing book would you recommend to non-marketing professionals?
Biology by Martin Lindstrom. It's a lovely book, and I personally am also interested in human behavior a lot. So this book actually talks about how your purchase behavior actually is driven by 90% of your irrational brain, and only 10% is driven by rational side of your brain. So it actually talks, and this is actually not related to marketing, it is related to a lot of decision making and other stuff. So it actually tells you that how your consumer behavior is influenced by neuroscience application. So how the interaction of your behavior and neuroscience. So it's very interesting. It teaches you which side of the brain helps you make which decision, and how do you respond to a color, how do you respond to a name. So it's very interesting. And the good part is it's not jargon oriented. It's in a simple layman language, so you can read it and appreciate it as well.
Sounds interesting, ma'am. I'll definitely read this one.
So actually, my daughter is a marketing professional. So some of the books have come through, her library, and that's how I started appreciating it.
So that's it from our side, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Parinita. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out the time and being here with us today. It was a pleasure having your insights, and I hope to see you again in more such interviews.